like looking real full right now. Like real full. And I'm just loving my hair. I've been really in love with my hair lately. I want to curl it, throw some rollers in it. So, welcome back to whatever this is. Whatever. This is whatever Lucio Don calls it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go over some scriptures. I don't know if I want to make this a series yet. I'm not for certain the way I want to do this, but I know that I have to try it out first. Sometimes I just have to like try stuff out and then see, then I'm able to see the vision a little bit more clear. But I want to dive into scripture. I want to dive into the verses of the Bible and the meanings behind it, and what our ancestors think of those meanings. What do our great ancestors think of these verses? You know what I'm saying? And some of the answers will be personal to my family lineage, and some of it will be just general. You know what I'm saying? The general thought of the diaspora, the collective, of the African collective. So today we're going to ask questions about the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 3 through 5. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So first of all, the generations that they're talking about, they're talking about the third and fourth generations that have been brought over here, right? Do you guys understand? You guys are aware of that, right? They're talking about the slave trade. They're talking about the generations that hated those who forced our people, our ancestors, into these beliefs and understandings, and took away our natural power and who we were as a collective, a diaspora, right? So I want to ask the ancestors, what do they think about this verse? Because it's very much that is the livelihood of a Christian. Anything that is not of Jesus, or that is showing opposite of this belief, we shun it. We are scared of it. It is evil. It is demonic. It is voodoo. You know what I'm saying? And voodoo is classified as black magic and dark and evil, and it's about zombies and all this other stuff that people just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the power of melanin and the black person, the black individual. And those gods and those deities, why did they make us stop? Why did they make us stop, believing in these deities? There was a reason for that. So, yeah, I'm going to use these archetype cards first about the verse. What do the ancestors feel about the verse as a whole? Us being told and instructed that we cannot worship any other deity, not even the God that they tell us to serve. We can't even make an image of that deity because of what? Why did they tell us not to make any graven image? Why did they tell us not to make any graven image of the deities that we knew? the strength and the power that we gained and that we hold because of our deities and our idols that we carve. Those images hold strength and power, though they don't live in those images. Of course, that image of a statue of Baron is not Baron, you know, but it embodies and represents a certain energy, and it holds a certain vibration. You know what I'm saying? And seeing these idols, seeing these graven images empower us, right? So with the Judge card, they wanted to confuse our judgment. When we are not concrete in our own spirituality and what our ancestors believed in, it messed up our judgment and the way that we judged right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? We cannot connect to our own spiritual beings and gods to tell us what was the truth, because the Loa does not play. These ancient spirits, these old spirits, ancient spirits, they do not play about evolving in spirituality and worship. They do not play. It's not the same as Christianity. So it was like our understanding for life was different. We began to adapt this other religion's personality and the way that we related to the earth and the world as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting this gossip cards. Okay, so this card is letting me know that it actually very much confused our ancestors when they were told not to incorporate their gods into this new religion. It was very confusing to them, and they wanted to honor what was being told to them, but it did not sit well with them. So this is a general message for the collective. So if you wanted to get a deeper look into what your ancestors felt about the slave trade or felt about like the conditionings of Christianity, you would need to book a reading with me or join fellowship. But this was something that okay, so they're talking about how it was confusing for them, and they also knew immediately that the way that they will keep their own traditions going or keep whatever they wanted to instill in future generations, they had to do that on their own. They had to transmit this. I got my phone on do not disturb, and these fucking calls are still coming through. Anyways, but yes, they had to change it up. So I have this gossip card, and I was speaking about how the ancestors knew that the knowledge that they wanted to pass down, if anything, they would have to pass it down through the word of mouth, right? At the end here, I have the card for the rebels. So they wanted to rebel against what was being shown to them and given to them. They didn't want to only worship this one God. That did not make sense to a people that are very open and are used to sharing. You know what I'm saying? And so it was a little bit confusing for them when trying to make this transition. So I'm going to use this fortune teller deck. How were the fortunes of those who conformed, who were forced to conform? How were their fortunes altered? How were their fortunes altered? Y'all, I'm loving this shit so much. Okay. So the first in the first section that I have here, the first sentence says, regardless of opposition, you will be successful. So that's letting us know that the ancestors in the Loa and the gods and the deities that we worship, there was no hard feelings. It wasn't our fault, and it was not. The blame was not placed on us. You know what I'm saying? They let us know that we will be successful regardless. We still got free. We still got free and all of that other stuff. Not other stuff, but there's a lot of events that transpired. We did not stay in that bondage forever. You know what I'm saying? Or that form of bondage, shall I say. A reception where you will meet someone. They are speaking about the times that we were able to gather in the fields, the secret places, the secret times and the secret places that we were able to gather as community, and commune with one another to pass on the legacy, to pass on the oral traditions, you know. You are one who stands by a person who needs you. They knew that they had to stand with each other, and everybody had to work together, unless everything about themselves would die. You know. So they had to find strength in that and believe that. The second pile says someone who is ill is going to recover. So a lot of people became suicidal, mentally ill, when leaving their gods and trying to stay and follow the trying to be righteous under God's law, you know. And it was hard conforming to this because we knew the truth. We knew what God was. We knew already. So for someone else to try to tell us that had no relationship, the kind of power and relationship that we had to God, they had no access to that. Trying to conform us and belittle us and dumb us down. You know what I'm saying? That caused some of the slaves to become mentally ill. It drove them literally ill. You appreciate the smaller things in life rather than the big ones. They had to they had to find strength in the little that they had. They knew that they were only going to be able to keep a little bit of their tradition, and they could not openly work with those who, they could not openly work with their spirits the way that they could, and that they had to find different ways to talk to their spirits and commune with them. And so it made them a little bit more appreciative of what the time that they had to worship something more. You need self-confidence, otherwise you will lose. So this goes back to their strength. They had to stay strong. Okay, they wanted to rebel. Because they know, it's like they know they like this. They know who they are, but they have to react like this, you know. And that caused frustration for our ancestors, okay, for the diaspora. So in the last deck I have, or the last, what is this column? A great future for you. Don't be disappointed. It's a reminder that things will not always be this bleak. Things were not going to always be that way, and the ancestors knew that as well. They probably knew that they wouldn't be in the lifetime that they were able to see the freedom, but they knew that the way this was happening would not always be. They had to keep faith, and they had to keep the hope. They had to keep faith, and they had to keep the hope. They could not think about their future in a disappointing way. You feel me? They could not think negatively. They had to. I'm seeing they just keep making me pull out this card. The way they had to be conditioned and just play. It was, I don't know. It was like they only got quiet because they had to. They felt like they had no choice. That's the word that I'm looking for. Complacency. It's like they had to remain complacent, and it drove some of them really insane. It really did, because they did. Oh, and I didn't really look at her face, but she's not fucking happy. You know, she's not happy. It's like she's being forced to be complacent. Something will happen that will change the entire atmosphere for the best. So they knew that there were better things coming, major things, big things. And they knew that our gods and our spirits wasn't going to let it just sit, like just happen and all be lost about who we are. They know that was the intent, that was the purpose, but they knew that it would not always be this way. That the children of the diaspora would know who they were and would come back. You know, hasty news. Hasty news is the last card. The hasty news, it reminds me, because I come from a Christian, come on, Baptist, Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ. Hasty news. It reminds me of the good news. The good news. But this news is all of a sudden. This news is hasty. This comes with some fire to it. The fire up under their asses. And you see how people are waking up, the collective, the diaspora, they're waking up. And it's almost like people are being, like, not forced. They're not being forced, but it's almost like, how did I get here? You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, I just woke up and now I'm learning African spirituality, and just last year I was doing this, and it's like, things are transitioning so fast that people are evolving and understanding the good news, which is that there's way more, that Jesus is not the end all be all. Okay, that's the motherfucking news, that our ancestors was conditioned, you know what I'm saying? And we were forced to believe in this one deity. And it's like, there's so much to the Holy Trinity, to the 12 disciples, to Judas, you know what I'm saying, to who these people were. We don't know the truth. They took our story and they just misconstrued it all the way. That's why don't nothing shake when you depending on Jesus. I've known somebody who said they work with Jesus. I don't fucking work with Jesus. Jesus is not real. I don't fucking work with Jesus. Why would you want to work with Jesus? Why would you want to work with Jesus? I understand that our ancestors knew Jesus and they prayed to Jesus, but I mean, I'm sure they on the other side and they fucking understand. You know what I'm saying? But when you get into voodoo and you get into the principles and you understand what these rules and commandments stem from and what they truly mean, then you actually understand God and the Bible more, and why your ancestors were complacent, you know, or allowed themselves to be complacent, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. So that is how the ancestors feel about having religion stripped from us, our own natural rights, our freedom of speech, and our freedom to believe, our freedom to whatever. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have no motherfucking freedom. We didn't have freedom. Okay, those words are not spoken for us. It was not for us. And that is the reading. Thank you all for tuning in today. Trust me, you will see more of me. I'm coming for y'all throats, okay? Y'all gonna see more of me. The vision's coming to life. And if you want to learn more about your path and your ancestors, you can join membership. If you want to learn how to read like me and divine like me, you can join membership. Okay, I'm all about Haitian Vodou. I am the path to Haitian Vodou. I can get you to where you need to be. Okay, I can awaken the truth in you, which is what voodoo is. Voodoo brings you to the light, and I am here to bring you to the light. Okay, daughter of Don Tour, Mary Magdalene. Mwah, love you.